Hey guys, be sure to check out the Mortar Pod, our weekly video podcast, and also check out the tutorial video for my board game, Travelers of Storia. Hey everybody, Alex from SeemsGoodMagic.com here, and we're doing another Khans of Tarkir Swiss draft. We've got Sultai Ascendancy, which is an okay card, but not my favorite Ascendancy. We've also got Warden of the Eye, which is actually a very good card, so possibly worthy of a first pick here. Also have some fixing. Arc Lightning is a pretty good card. I mean, it's less color devotion than Warden, but Warden is a very mighty card because 3/3 body is good, but getting back a removal spell like Arc Lightning, but maybe even better ones, or there's just a lot of things this can get back that's very, very strong. So I'm a big Warden of the Eye fan. It does devote you to 3 colors right away, but I would say Warden of the Eye is very much better in this format than Arc Lightning is. So I think it's early enough. We're just going to take the most powerful card, in my opinion. So I think I'm just going to take the Warden, which is just a really good card. There's a couple other good cards in here too, but I'm pretty happy to take the Warden there. All right, I'm a big Spell Snatcher fan. Fine with that. Bloodfire Expert's pretty good. Debilitating Injury, of course, good removal. I like the Spell Snatcher. I've taken some. I think the best thing I've taken with it is Woolly Loxodon, but I was pretty happy about that. So I'll take the Spell Snatcher here. I have no problem with that. We're not looking like the hyper aggressive Jeskai deck so far, but both of these cards are very strong, so I'm happy to take them. All right, here's a Charm, but that one's 2 colors different than the Warden, so that would be a bit more difficult to play. It's also a Tranquil Cove, which this deck could definitely use if I want to consistently hit that Warden of the Eye. And I'm not giving up too much for it. Set Adrift, Bring Low are like the 2, removal spells that are the, sort of what I'm weighing against the Tranquil Cove. Valley Dasher and Wetland Sandbar are playable. I think I'm okay with the Cove here. Makes Warden of the Eye a little bit easier to cast. And I'm not passing anything that is going to make or break the deck, I don't think so. That seems like a fine pick. All right, wow. Ice Feather Raven's pretty good, but it starts bringing us into green territory. That might be okay, though. There's also, otherwise it's like Salt Road Patrol. I mean, Jungle Hollow is a card, but currently I don't need the black or green based on the 2 cards we already have. I could take the Ice Feather Raven, maybe green Splash, or I could also go Temur and then possibly just splash the white for Warden of the Eye. So yeah, actually that works too. I mean, Ice Feather Raven seems like it's the strongest card in this pack. There's also Hooting Mandrills, but once again, we're not really in the green. I'm just going to take Ice Feather Raven. Could end up Temur, splash this. Here's a Charm, so that might be the good, that might be the cue we need to start going more Temur, and then maybe just splash for the Warden with the help of this Tranquil Cove. Yeah, I think I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm a big Temur Charm fan. Mana Leak. I've used all the modes on it, so I very much like the Temur Charm. It does require you to have creatures to be able to use it as removal, but I think that's okay. So let's take the Temur Charm, and that's a nice thing to bring back with the Warden of the Eye, definitely. Bringing back the charms is great. So let's take that. Okay, Alpine Grizzly is definitely a good playable card, and there's nothing really else super exciting in here. Kieran, but it could be the white as the splash. I'm kind of feeling like we're going to be more Temur, and then just splash the white. I think I might try that. And that would probably be my first sort of branch into 4-color, presumably. Skuldkin's playable too, but I actually like Grizzly. Grizzly's a big threat. And what I really like about Grizzly is how good it is defensively. I mean, it can be amazing offensively too, but it's just a nice defensive card for a good cost. So I like it. Okay, Awaken the Bear is good. Highland Game is definitely good. I mean, Awaken the Bear with Grizzly is certainly good. 7 power trample. Tough to deny that. Scaldkin flies, which is actually really good. Highland Game is just a nice 2-drop that buys you time to get to the late game, which I do value a lot. Uh, this is just sort of this is a questionable pick, actually, which one I like more. I really do like what Highland Game can do against the aggressive decks. I think because Scaldkin's 4 mana, I'm going to take the Highland Game. There's just some really good aggressive decks that people can play in this format. So it's nice to have early things to do. When you're playing threats early, it's nice that these are good offensively, but very, like Highland Game in particular, very good against the Warriors deck, since it's like trade with one of your Warriors, gain 2 life, set you back more. Buy myself time to get more established on the board. I like Weave Fate. I think we're going to take the Force away just because I think I like the bounce effect more. I don't know if that's necessarily right, but I do like the bounce effect. It's very good against Outlast. I think that's why I like it. Nothing in here is like super crazy good. The Ascendancy ended up tabling, but I mean, I certainly think it didn't need to table. If you're in Sultai, it's a very good card. I think here we're just going to take the Naturalize for sideboard. I mean, I guess I could take the Tracker. There's a chance I main deck that, so that one might make sense. Although we're pretty light red, so it could be we're going for the green, blue, splash red, splash white. But either way, I guess Tracker's still fine, since if I'm splashing red, I can just morph it. I mean, Seek the Horizon could be some fixing, but I think I'm more interested in a second Highland Game. I like that. Set Adrift, definitely good enough here. Disdainful Stroke is actually playable, certainly playable, but I like the Set Adrift more, I think. So we'll take that. I guess it sort of eats up our graveyard, which takes away from the Warden of the Eye, but that's not a problem. I think we're going to take the Banner here over the Quiet Contemplation. I haven't played the Contemplation yet, so I can't judge how good it is, but I think I'm a little less interested. Okay, pretty cool pack 1. I'm not unhappy at all with what we ended up with. I think our plan is more green blue for the base, and then we splash red and white potentially, like Windswept Teeth. Now we have even more fixing and a bunch of tickets. Very good. Otherwise, good cards in here. Secret Plans I usually like, but I don't think well, I guess we got what? 1, 2, 3. I mean, it's a start enough that we could take Secret Plans, but I'm just taking the Heath because it's worth some tickets, and it actually works in our deck, which is really nice. It's always refreshing when you get this. It's worth tickets, and you can actually play it, so that's very nice. Alpine Grizzly, also good. Certainly fine in multiples. Well, I guess it's weak against Death Frenzy and Debilitating Injury, but that's all right. I still think it's very good. But Heath it is. Happily taking that. All right. High Spire Mantis is an option, but if red, white is our splash colors, that's going to be way more awkward. Smite, once again, just sort of not ideal because of the cost. Highland Game number 3 is fine, I guess, but Mandrills might just be the pick. It does have Delve, but that's all right. It's 4/4 Trample's a good body. Most of the time, I bet you're paying 4 or 5 for it, so that's reasonable. I feel like another Highland Game here seems unnecessary. I think I'd rather get a Delve guy. Valley Dasher, since red's light, I'm not really digging that. Like I said, let's try and focus on green blue, and then splash red white. No fixing in here that's relevant to us, so Mandrills it is. Become Immense is an actual card. I guess Wetland Sandbar. Kill shot on the splash is okay. A little bit awkward. Savants, I mean, morphs, but nothing impressive. Dragon Scale Boon's a pretty good card. I guess we have some cheap creatures that interact, like a Grizzly with it is pretty insane. All right, I can get behind Dragon Scale Boon. Become Immense is good, but we already have a couple Delve cards, and not much Delve Enabler, so I'd much prefer the nice combat trick. This is also going to help future fights, Temur Charm, or any Savage Punches we get, or something like that. Alright, Dragon Scale Boon it is. There's a Secret Plans, but I think we want the Rugged Highlands. I like getting the fixing here, definitely, since I'd like to play this Temur Charm and Warden of the Eye more easily. Secret Plans is getting good. It is getting good. I guess we haven't picked up another Morph guy yet, but it's still, I like it. Maybe some people don't, but I'm a big fan. Crippling Chill would also be fine, but yeah, I'm totally cool with Rugged Highlands here. I don't have any problems with that. Alright, we can take the Cliffs now. See if there's something else worth our time. Yeah, Glacial Stalker's pretty good. Loxodon's pretty good. Neither of them seem completely necessary over the Cliffs. They're both good finishers, but currently our finishers are what, like Mandrills, Warden. Yeah, I mean, we don't have a ton of finishers, but I still am kind of feeling the Cliffs here. Blue's our main color, and getting some more red fixing, I'm not opposed to that at all. Anything that's going to make our 4-color mana base work better. Alright, Winter Flame is certainly a good removal spell. I like killing morph guys and tapping stuff down. Yeah. Otherwise, another Cliffs is an option. I mean, Embodiment of Spring is actually very playable in here too, since it blocks reasonably well, and blue-green is our like base colors, so it could help us ramp. I think I want the Winter Flame, despite it being, you know, the red splash or whatever. It's a good card. Mystic is also very good because it's unblockable. We're only at 8 threats currently. I don't know, it's debatable, I guess. Guess I'm going to go Winter Flame, but just because I like it that much, it's good removal. Blossoming Sands versus a Bloodfire Expert. A Snowhorn Rider certainly seems good enough. Yeah, I guess we probably take the Rider. Otherwise, yeah, Blossoming Sands would be some good fixing, but you know, I'm cool with the Rider here. It's a good threat. Okay, Rider it is. All right, Tranquil Cove versus a Glacial Stalk and a Dragon Scale Boon. Yeah, let's take the Cove. Or a Sandbar, but I'm digging this late on color fixing. It's kind of nice. All right, Flock. I actually like this card. You know, Blinding Spray, I know it doesn't have the best reputation, but I've watched Josh Frankel a couple times do some really cool plays with Blinding Spray, so I think that card gets an unnecessarily bad reputation. Yes, it's a 5-mana, just creatures your opponents control get -4, -0, but it's an excellent combat trick. The fact that it cantrips is pretty important. All right, Smite seems fine. It's a bit awkward on the splash. Could also take the Patrol. I actually like the Patrol, believe it or not. But I think Smite's probably more relevant on the splash. Cancel's also a card, and Valley Dasher is too, but I guess we'll take the Smite. All right, Sandbar. Get another 2-drop in our main colors. Otherwise, it's a Barrage of Boulders, which I guess is a good sideboard card to have. But I don't mind getting another 2-drop here. All right, Awaken the Bear is great, so happily taking that over the other cards there. Embodiment tabling, very nice. Jeez, just embodiments for days. They're totally playable in here, by the way. I have no problem playing Embodiment of Springs. This is looking good. This is looking good. I like it. I think all this deck needs for me to be satisfied, because our fixing is looking pretty good now, especially with the double embodiment. Jeez. Well, I was going to say, Sarkhan helps, yeah. What was I going to say? What was I? Oh, finishers. And then as soon as I say finishers, we get Sarkhan. So stretching us a little bit deeper red, but yeah, it's Sarkhan. What am I going to say? No to that? Absolutely. I love Sarkhan. Windscarred Crag, also playable in here. Double splash color, but red's looking less like a splash color when you open a Sarkhan. Unless I wanted to not play Sarkhan. That doesn't seem smart. Keep in mind, Warden can actually bring Sarkhan back from your graveyard, which is pretty incredible as well. Very easy Ice Feather Aven, I think. I guess there's also Savage Punch, Thornwood Falls. Weapon Master technically is on color. Flock and Treasure Cruise. But yeah, Ice Feather Aven for days, baby. I love this card. Very good tempo card. Mind Swipe. Play that again. I don't have any problems with Mind Swipe, to be perfectly honest. Otherwise, Loxodon. I really don't have any problems with Mind Swipe. I've played it, and I've been satisfied with it. I've dealt 4 damage and countered a spell before. Can you really? I mean, that's a pretty solid 6 mana play, in my opinion. Counter spell, deal 4 to you. I mean, you got to leave some mana up, but very good if you have other instant speed spells. We have a couple. Smite and Set Adrift, Waken the Bear. It's very nice to be able to leave those up. Otherwise, Windscarred Crag is some more fixing, which is good. I mean, we're 4 color, so fixing. But we already have, I guess, double embodiment and 5 lands, so I don't know. I'm kind of feeling the Mind Swipe, to be honest. I like it. Let's see here. Opulent Palace just gives us green and blue. The black doesn't really help, but I mean, it's still fine. Kill Shot now might actually be okay. Otherwise, Sagu Archer. I mean, we're not looking hyper aggressive. We're looking like we can win late game with Sarkhan and Rider, Mandrills. I might just want some removal, solid removal from Kill Shot. Otherwise, yeah, Opulent Palace is some good fixing for our main colors. I'm going to take a Kill Shot. I like it. Okay, so now none of these cards are super amazing, so it's a pretty easy Tranquil Cove, I think. It's going to help us splash white easier, and I'm not really passing much of anything. Couple tricks and Bring Low's okay removal, but geez, foil too. Yeah, that's on color. I'll take it. Beautiful. This is we got some nice cards in here, and this is like my first real branch into 4 color. So I think you guys are probably gonna get a kick out of this too. I mean, Hardened Scales is cute and all, but yeah, I think Sultai Flare is pretty easy pickup. I love this card. Big fan of Sultai Flare, and it looks phenomenal in this deck, I think. Well, actually, let me count how many we actually... Maybe we don't have as many as I like, but the fact that he activates off himself, I guess, makes him good. Yeah, we actually don't have that many. Flock works really well with Flare. But Mandrills and Snowhorn Rider appear to... no, and our foil Sage of the Inward Eye, yeah. Alright. Sultai Flare, easy pickup. Can't really splash the Charm. Parapet's not all that good in here since we can't use the... I think we've got enough early game where we don't need the Parapet. Salt Road Patrol is fine. Otherwise, a second Smite is an option too. I mean, yeah, I guess we can take the Patrol. It's okay. Weave Fate, I actually like the idea of getting one of those in here over the Banner and the Naturalize. Naturalize is a nice sideboard card, but I am likely main decking the Weave Fate, so I think I want it. Likely. Mind you, likely. I don't know yet. Treasure Cruise is a great card, but not really for this deck. Embodiments are good for Fill and Delve. The only reason I don't like the Treasure Cruise in here is we've already got a couple Delve cards that I want to play, and 3 Delve cards without a lot of ways to enable them, I think, is a bit much. So let's take the Weapon Master, which is certainly acceptable. Temur Banner, yeah, I don't think this is a Defiant Strike deck, and or a Briber's Purse, and Abomination's kind of not on color. All right, we're going to take a Barrage here over the second Weave Fate. It's nice that we got one of those. None of these cards matter. I guess Taigam Scheming does enable our Delve cards better, but I don't think I want it. Bloodfire Mentor on color, but also I don't think we're going to need to main deck it. I'm pretty satisfied. We got good fixing. We got a couple embodiments. We've got cards that are worth our time. I think we stuck mostly to our green-blue base, and even though we have, a few red and white spells, I'm not terribly worried about making them work in this deck. So for now, let's group some stuff separate. We have a couple banners, which I'm not sure we're going to be needing in here. I'm not convinced we're going to be needing those, but I definitely want the double embodiment. This is 31 cards. Geez, maybe we can cut the banners for now. I don't think we need them. The fixing we got is pretty nice for red and white, actually, our two splash colors. So very good. Let's just decide which cards are probably not worth our time, which ones are on the fence, which ones I'd like to play. Like Tracker doesn't seem super exciting in here, so we can probably cut that. Let's move all of our morph guys to their rightful places. I mean, Wetland Sandbar can probably get the axe. It's not that it's a bad card, because it's not. It's just I like what the rest of our deck is doing a little bit more. I really do like our spell count is very good. Keep in mind, Sarkhan's kind of a creature too, which is nice. So that's kind of like we have 17 creatures, kind of, right? I mean, I consider Sarkhan kind of a creature. I think that's a safe assumption. Could cut the Salt Road Patrol. Just there's nothing wrong with it per se. It's just not really necessary, especially if white is one of our lesser colors, which it is. I like all of the other white splashes that we have, though. This is certainly worthy of a splash. Warden, certainly worthy of a splash. With this spell count too, especially Smite and Killshot both seem like perfectly reasonable splashes. We're not going to need that many white sources. Weapon Master seems fine on the splash too, especially considering you can just morph it in. So I need to make 3 more cuts. I mean, it's debatable. 18 lands is actually debatable with this deck. I think we're not going to do it because we have the double embodiment, actually, in retrospect. I think we don't need to do it because double embodiment makes that easier. So let's just make 3 cuts here. Waken the Bear, Dragon Scale Boon are both good, but perhaps we can cut one of them. I think I like the Awaken more than Dragon Scale Boon just because it's a little bit cheaper and you get the trample effect, which people typically aren't prepared for. So maybe we cut Dragon Scale Boon. As much as I do like the card, I think we can safely cut it. I'd rather have just a straight up removal spell or, yeah, like I said, the trample effect. Although Dragon Scale Boon pretty good on a flyer. I mean, that's debatable. I don't know. It's debatable, certainly. 2 more cuts. What are the weakest cards in this deck? I could cut the Set Adrift. We have some good removal and tricks beyond it, and Delve is not really too much of a thing. All right, I think we're cutting the Set Adrift. I'm not opposed to the card at all. It's just doesn't seem absolutely necessary. Feels like a card that can be cut, and it's not going to hurt my deck. And then one more cut. And I don't care if it's a creature or a spell. I think I want to keep the Mind Swipe just because I think this card, it's just nice to be able to have a board state where you have a Mind Swipe in your hand and your opponent can't cast a spell or they lose, which is just good. It's like a big, huge X Lava Spike. Yeah, so one more cut and then I think we're good. Maybe we cut the 2 combat tricks and just leave our deck with removal rather than combat tricks or draw card effects. I might be okay with that, actually. I certainly like Awaken the Bear, but this doesn't need to be in here. And I do like everything else a little bit more, I think. Either hard removal or a counter spell that burns them. Yeah. All right, let's cut the Awaken the Bear, I think. I think I just like everything else too much to cut something else. So let's sort by color. combine groups. So we only have 5 spells that require white. We have a few spells that require red. Sarkhan, admittedly, is going to be a little bit more difficult to cast, but then it's just green, blue. Okay, let's bring our lands in here. All right. Add basics. Let's just see what their suggestion gives us. So green, blue base, this would be how many sources of blue? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sources of blue. This would be 1, 2, 3, 4 sources of green. That's certainly not enough. And then we have 3, 4 sources of red. That doesn't seem like enough. And then 6 sources of white. That seems like way too much. So let's go down to 4 sources of white. Let's add a couple more forests, I think. Did they just add another island there? That was weird. All right. So 4, 5, 6 sources of green. And then how many sources of white? 4 sources of white, 6 sources of green, 4 sources of red. It's actually 5 sources of white, which is more than enough. 6 sources of green, 8 sources of blue. Maybe 8 sources of blue is actually too much. So let's cut a blue. Let's bring in a mountain. So now we're at 5 sources red, 7 sources blue, 6 sources green, and 5 sources white. Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit dirty, but I think it's okay. I mean, it was very important that we get the blue and green sort of early. So I guess blue and green do need to for sure be the focus. I've got less than 3 minutes. All right. Well, I think we're going to run it like this. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 sources, or 7 sources. 7 sources blue, 6 sources green, 4 sources white, 5 sources red with Sarkhan. It's going to be a little bit harder, but I'm hoping the double embodiments sort of help us fix a little bit better. I guess I'll run it like this. It's my first sort of. I mean, it looks a little bit rough, but it's a 4-color deck, so maybe that's to be expected. I don't know. I mean, maybe I really minimize white in here. Let's do 1 less plains and 1 more green source, maybe. Because I want to be able to play my green and blue stuff early. So that way it's, what, 7 sources green? And then 7 sources blue. All right, I think we're going to run it like this. This is an interesting deck. I mean, it's got plenty of finishers. That is for sure. All right. Oh, wait. I need a plains to search up. I see. Okay. I think I have to do the white source then. Because I need a plains to search up with Windswept Heath, or else Windswept Heath is kind of pointless in this deck as a white fixer. So, all right. Guess I'm going to have to live with this, but that's okay. This looks like a fun deck to play for sure. Yeah, let's give this a try. I'll see you round 1.